Hello and welcome to another exhilarating episode of Our Dead Movies. I am your host, the snobby narrator that nobody knows. As the title suggests, this series is going to be all about our cancelled movies and all of the projects that we worked on that never really went beyond the concept stage. I will be looking at a different film on each episode, and I will be rereading the script for each one, more or less like resurrecting it like some zombified abomination that, rather than eating your brains, will rather eat up precious time that you'll be wasting listening to my droning voice rather than doing something actually productive. Before we begin with today's episode, there are a couple things I want to clarify. First, even though I will be basically resurrecting this film more or less, it will not feature a fully animated version of the film. In other words, we aren't fully resurrecting it. We're not actually making the movie because it was cancelled for a reason. The other thing that I want to point out is that excuse me. The other thing I want to point out is that we will not be canonizing any of these films, even if you want them to be. We just won't do it. It violates our policy. Now, as I am filled with the bliss of spring, we must today talk about Freddy and Joey in The Duck and the Strawberries. You see, this film was originally pitched in the spring of 2011 as a possible final project for an intro to animation class, but was vehemently rejected, partially because of its over-ambitious nature. You see, the problem with this class, at least with this time frame in class, was that not a lot of time was given to animate the project, and just some people felt that this was way too much that needed to be done for the time frame. Either it would be incomplete or be of a quality that was nicely not up to par with everything else. But now, as we let the spring air fill our lungs, let me read over the script for this short animated film that was never made. Now, let me begin. Freddy and Joey, The Duck and the Strawberries by Andrew Bermudez, April 28th, 2011. Fade in. Exterior, Freddy's house day. We see a tree on the edge of mulberry forest with a simple little door on the side. The breeze softly blows, sending a quiet howl through the woods. Leaves swirl past. Freddy, a wood-smart, though slightly plump squirrel, saunters over to the front door of his house with a basket of nuts under his arm. He's about to reach this front door when the sorrowful David the Duck waddles up with tears running down his cool blue beak and dusty brown feathers. Freddy rushes over to comfort him. Freddy, what's wrong? David shows Freddy an empty basket. David the duck. I have no strawberries. Suddenly, David catches a sight of something in the distance. Cut to exterior barnyard day. Over in the nearby farm, we take a look at a basket sitting on a table near the door to the barn. On closer inspection, we see that the basket is full of strawberries. Cut to exterior Freddy's house day. David is overjoyed to have found some strawberries and rushes off after them. Freddy waves his arms, trying to get David to come back. Freddy. Wait, that's Farmer John's place. Cut to exterior farm fence day. David runs up to the tall fence that is meant to keep animals like him out and hops through. Cut to exterior barnyard day. David reaches the table and spreads out his wings. He flaps up, getting to the tabletop. Cut to exterior tabletop day. He waddles over to the basket full of strawberries, only to realize he doesn't have his own basket. He looks over the edge of the table and sees it sitting on the ground. When he looks back up, he finds himself staring into the double barrels of a well-polished shotgun being carried by Farmer John. Cut to exterior cornfield day. David runs past cornstalk sprouts as shells from Farmer John's shotgun ring out and strike the ground about the fleeing duck. Cut to exterior farm fence day. David quickly squeezes his way through the fence to escape some shotgun shells that strike the fence, dislodging large chunks of whitewashed wood. Farmer John off screen. Stay away from my strawberries! David gets up, then realizes something. He turns to look back inside the farm. Cut to exterior barnyard day. We take a close look at the ground next to the table with the strawberries to discover that David left his basket back in the farm. Cut to exterior farm fence day. David gets ready to fly over the fence, but Freddy rushes over and stops him. Freddy, I told you not to go in there, and now you want to go back? David the duck. I guess I can wait for tomorrow. David softly walks away. Cut to exterior barnyard day. The next day, David comes flying in and lands on the table with the strawberries. He is about to pick some up when Farmer John shows up. David is petrified, but still is able to confront Farmer John. David the duck. Can I have some strawberries? Farmer John, if you take any of my strawberries. Farmer John holds up a nail and a hammer. Farmer John, I'll nail you to my fence post. David the duck flies away. Cut to exterior barnyard day. The next day, David returns to find Farmer John pitching some hay. David lands on the haystack. David the duck. Do you have your hammer and nails? Farmer John. No. David the duck. Okay. David flies over to the strawberries, grabs a few in his beak, flies off with a twinkle in his eye. Farmer John screams, then we zoom into his mouth and see his tonsil jiggling along. Fade out. So, like I mentioned before, this film was originally conceived as part of a intro to animation class, but was cancelled because it would have been too ambitious for the time frame allotted. Eventually, the film that was made in place of this one was An Afternoon at the Zoo. Another interesting fact is that this film was actually inspired not necessarily by the Freddy and Joey stories, but actually a joke about a duck wanting some strawberries. In that joke, the duck was not named, neither was the farmer, though the farmer here was given the name Farmer John to connect him to the stories. And essentially the joke was about a duck wanting strawberries and about being nailed to a fence post and so forth. The joke goes a little differently than as is presented in this story, and honestly is actually a lot more morbid. And that concludes today's episode of Our Dead Movies. We hope that you will join us next time for our next episode, where we will be covering another cancelled movie from Mustache Maniacs Film Co. Until then, however, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out Mustache Maniacs Film Co.'s other big movies, such as the highly popular Forest of Fear and Johnny Thunder and the Secret of Marco Polo, as well as newer films such as Alpha Team Mission Deep Jungle and Clone. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you all next episode. Now, where's my Perrier?